Hey guys, got a quick video for y'all on Operation of VT15 that I know a lot of y'all have had trouble with it. So this highlights some of the unique features of it, things that are different from other trucks. Y'all just take a few minutes to watch this. Appreciate it.
All right, first thing I want y'all to note, I went over this yesterday with Trey. He said that when he's on an unlevel surface, the hood, this whole part of the hood starts to rock up. And so at one point it finally snapped. If that happens again, as always, y'all just let us know. The next thing y'all see, this latch right here, y'all probably already know this, but that's basically a safety feature. So if somebody's working under the bed, this is locked and you can't close or lock the tailgate or drop the bed. We'll go over this once we got the truck running, but this says remote throttle. That does not just refer to the remote control, which I don't know that we have one for this truck. That's actually to use this panel at all. So when me and D-Walls were messing with it, we had to turn this thing on in order to use the throttle. If this switch was not on, we could not use the throttle. I don't believe we could use any of these. So if you want to use those, you got to cut that on. Once again, once the truck is running, we'll take a look at how that works. But that is your safety latch. So as the door opens, that's going to lock. Long story short, you're going to have to mess with that before you can get the tailgate closed. This bumper is one of the main things I want to get to. So when y'all are using the high dump, I know talking to Andrew, when you backed up to the dumpster, they basically had to hold a tarp under this thing because of this bumper, you can't get as close as you need to the dumpster. All right, that being said, you can remove this part of the bumper when you're using the high dump. So currently, yeah, you can take your impact and a wrench and hit these nuts and bolts and pull them off. I know talking to Bud and to Daniel, they're hoping next week to replace those bolts with some pins, so it's going to be quicker and easier. Y'all might ask, well, why can't we just get rid of that part of the bumper and leave it at the shop, which was my idea. According to Bud, though, the bumper cannot be more than 24 inches from the back of the truck. So that's why that bumper has to be that close to that. All right, the only other part of this truck, while it's just sitting here parked, not running, that I see that is unique is these right here. And these are safety supports for the subframe, meaning that when you're using the high dump, what you can do, you raise the high dump, and before you back up to a dumpster, you can lower these down. You can see where that is going to catch right there, and that's a safety feature so that if your hydraulics malfunction, the subframe would not collapse all the way. All right, so now I'm in the truck. Truck is running. My air pressure is built up, so we're good to go. So my next step, I want to engage the hydraulics. I'm not engaging the vacuum yet, just the hydraulics, so that I can raise and lower, in this case, the high dump. So this, you would think, would engage the hydraulics because it says it does, okay? However, after working with D-Walls, we discovered that does not work for engaging the hydraulics. You actually have to go to mode. Hit your mode button. All right, my hydraulics are engaged. All right, I'm now going to raise my high dump. Those of y'all who have used the truck already know this is different from the other high dumps we use. It's kind of got a scissors motion to it. The first thing I got to do is raise my body. I cannot go straight into a high dump. I actually have to raise the body. And now we're going to engage the high dump. Alright, body is not high enough. I'm going to raise it more. High dump is still not working. I'm going to raise it even higher. All right, there goes my high dump. Now, if I were going to back up to a dumpster at this point, I can drop the supports on both sides, as I talked about earlier. I'm not going to do that right now. All right, at this point, I'm ready to lower. So all I want to do is get my body slightly above horizontal. And then I can start to lower my high dump. And y'all, as always, please be careful. Do not dump this on unstable ground. I tell you from experience, not a bad idea. Do not dump it if one side of your tires is stuck deep in mud. It's not a fun ride. All right, we're gonna open the tailgate. So as it says, I'm gonna pull to unlock. I'm gonna pull to open. I want y'all to watch. If I could zoom, I would. As you can see, my safety latch catching here. All right, let's say I want to lower that. Pop that into place. Sorry. Oh, that's my lock. My bad. Now the T on that safety latch is able to go all the way down. Boom. All right, y'all, we're gonna engage the blower. So first thing I'm gonna do is put that back to neutral. All right, I'm gonna depress my brake. Actually, I don't know that I have to depress my brake. I'm gonna raise this guy up. My light came on. I'm gonna raise this guy up. Yeah. All right. There we go. I'm in blower mode. All right, once I've got those levers pulled, I'm gonna depress my brake. I'm gonna hit drive. And I'm gonna keep my foot on the brake until I see 2 5s. I got 2 5s. I come off the brake, blower's engaged. All right, guys, I'm outside the truck. First thing I'm gonna do is hit this. Come on. Throttle will not work here if my vacuum relief is open. I gotta go to close. Pick up right there. I can now throttle up. Finally, to disengage my blower, depress the brake, hit neutral, and I'm gonna give it probably about 30 seconds. All right, that's probably more like 15, but you got to make sure your RPMs come down. I'm gonna disengage my vacuum pump. I'm gonna disengage, or sorry, I'm actually going to engage my rear axle. All right, guys, that was a quick run through VT15, some of the things that are different and unique to it. If y'all have anything to add or any questions about that, please let me know. I appreciate you guys.